Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is, I hope, the first of many episodes of the $5 Game Box. The $5 Game Box. How are you? What is the $5 Game Box? What the hell are you talking about, big man? I'll tell you. First of all, I want to thank some fellow YouTubers, some great YouTubers. The channel is Craigslist Game Finds, and if you're not a subscriber, please do. White and Fanta run the channel. They do some great game hunting videos, some great pickups, footage. Fanta has worked hard to get like review copies sent from Nintendo and other places. He gets into E3, gets some great footage. Great channel. Love watching all their content. Recently, one of them, White, he sold off a big portion of his game collection, bought a shelf, and decided to do the $5 game shelf. And when I saw that episode, it really stuck with me. It spoke to me because I've been kind of wanting to do something similar to show people that I'm not necessarily investing a fuck ton of money into my game collection. This is where we get into the $5 game box. So let's go and let me tell you about the $5 game box. Here's the idea. You ready? Follow me. $5 game box. I plan to build a game collection that will fill this box. So we'll overflow this box by only investing $5. $5. That is all of the personal money, my personal money, I plan on putting into this game collection. I'm going to buy games. Any other funds that I need to buy more games has to come from what I buy. It's going to be a very liquid, very curated, is a word I like to use, collection of games. Now, I didn't sell my personal game collection. I still have it. You'll still see pickup videos from me of things I buy at garage sales, at thrift stores, at pawn shops, off eBay, Black Friday pickups coming up. That's going to be separate. This is going to be I'm going to treat it as a completely separate game collection. Anything that goes into it has to come from that $5. Any more money that it needs has to come from a game that I go resell. I can resell anyway. I can take him to the retro store. He's pretty fair on his prices. I can sell on local Craigslist. I can sell to GameStop. I could sell on eBay. It's going to, like I said, very curated. Like my personal collection, I'll keep anything I don't have. In here, I want this to be very specific. I want good titles. It's not going to be, the riffraff is not going to stick around here very long because I'm going to need funds to keep building and to keep collecting. All right, so that's what the $5 game box is. I'm going to start a collection only by spending $5, my personal money. Future funds come from selling games that will be in the collection. So that's what it is. Why? Like I said, there's some people think I'm, spending a lot of money and, it's very hard, very this, very that. Here I am putting in a $5 bill, and that's it. And we're going to build a game collection. And we're going to see where we're at in about a year or so. Now, of course, the $5 doesn't take into account some things. It doesn't take into account time. Your time is valuable. It doesn't take into account, gas spent driving around town to different garage sales or to meet somebody from Craigslist. It doesn't take into account, things like that. The Here's the thing. Um, any hobby you have, there's going to be some form of expenses. There's not many free hobbies. You want to be a hunter, you have to buy guns and ammo and camo. You have to pay for the processing of the meat once you get a kill. You want to play hockey, you got to buy equipment. You want to ski, you got to buy equipment. You got to buy your pass. You want to build model airplanes, you have to buy the model airplanes and buy the glue and buy the paint. And you got to put in the time to put it together. You got to put in the time to go out hunting. You got to put in the time to play hockey. So those things I'm going to consider a wash. If you don't enjoy game hunting, if you don't enjoy the part that requires you to go out and hit garage sales and hit thrift stores and hit flea markets if you have flea markets in your area, hit pawn shops, try to snipe something on eBay for a good price or any combination of thereof. If you don't enjoy that part and all you want is a nice collection of old retro games, then go on eBay and buy the retro games you want. The hunting is half of the fun of here. Going out and finding it and getting in your collection is really half the fun. If you don't enjoy that part, if that part bothers you, you should cut it out. You should do something else, in my opinion. You should get your game some other way. You'll be paying a premium, but you should get your game some other way. Another rule that I'm going to put onto the $5 game collection is we are going to assume that we have the systems to play the games that we're going to get. We're not starting video games from scratch. Like, oh, I wake up one day and decide I want to get the video games and only pay $5 for everything I get. Once again, like all hobbies, some form of investment is required. You're required to buy the tools that you need to partake in the hobby. You like reading? You got to buy books somehow, or you have to go acquire them. You're a music lover? You want to play an instrument? Every now and then you need to go get tuned. That's what I'm saying. So we're going to assume that you have a system, or we have a system, whether that be like a Retron 5, or we have access to an old NES, Super NES. Now, we may draw a limit on that, and, I'll go ahead and knock on this wood box as a $5 bill falls into Barrio's hands. You can't keep that. I mean, if we, by some stroke of luck, wind up with some TurboGrafx games in here, or some Neo Geo games, okay, maybe we'll assume we don't have the technology to play those types of games. But the basic, retro gaming systems, we're going to assume that there's some sort of access to this. So we're not going to be keeping systems in the $5 game box. That makes sense? We're not going to keep an NES. We're not going to keep an N64. We're not going to keep a Game Boy or a PlayStation 2. But we're going to love it when we get those, because those are immediate flips. We don't need the system. So that's an immediate flip either on eBay or locally or to the retro store to increase our funds. That's going to be awesome. All right, what else? We're also going to assume something else because I am the same collector keeping two different gaming collections. We're going to assume that, like any other hobby, and in video game collecting, I have found this to be true, and I'm an introvert. I don't make friends easily. I'm not a very social, outgoing type person. But we're going to assume, as a part of most hobbies, you're going to meet fellow hobbyists. You're going to meet fellow game collectors. You're going to network, if you will. And when you network, you can make trades. When you network, you can make deals with your fellow game collectors to sell off doubles or what have you, to get other stuff in your collection. So, as I say this, I'm going to assume that I'm a fellow collector in the $5 Game Box Collectors Network. Because here's why. if I come across fucking Earthbound as part of this collection, but because of the nature of the collection, there may be a need to sell Earthbound in order to get funds to continue the collection, I am not letting Earthbound get out of my house. I don't have Earthbound currently in my collection. I am not just going to say, oh, well, fuck, we got to sell Earthbound so we have money for more. That's not going to happen. I will, in an attempt to be fair, I will buy Earthbound from myself. Okay, and I won't cheat. I won't be like, well, I'm going to sell Earthbound to myself for $10. I'll try my best to be fair. I'll go off price charting. I'll go off eBay sold. Something. Okay? Before I let Earthbound disappear from my house, I will buy it from myself. Does that make sense? I'm hoping it doesn't come around because, like I said, this is going to be a very curated collection of games right here. So in that sense, we may have to make tough choices on getting rid of good games, but in order to keep better games. And in that sense, I'm going to use my own personal likes as an old game player from days when I was just little and about half the size. Maybe less than half the size. Anyway. You know, like I've said before here on other videos, the N64, for instance, wasn't my favorite as a kid. I loved the NES, I loved the Super NES. When the N64 hit, I was in college and didn't have disposable income around, didn't have time, and the PlayStation was where I was at. PlayStation had the Final Fantasy games. PlayStation had great RPGs. PlayStation had, good shooters. Had Tomb Raider. Had the better versions of Resident Evil. And it had Metal Gear Solid. Had games like that. N64 had Banjo-Kazooie. And it had Donkey Kong. And I've said it before, the N64 was a WCW revenge machine and a Mario Kart 64 machine. Alright, so I'll make a decision, like, if I have some N64 games and some, let's say, Super NES games, I'll probably make the decision of getting rid of the N64 games for funding before I start selling off Super Nintendo. Alright? And the as CJR says, the Schnickel Fritz has no place in here. Alright, the little, $5 games that, even though I may not have them, has no place in this box. Curated, maintained, best of the best. A well thought out collection of excellence in gaming across all systems. All right, like last video I put up, I went out, I bought like the Sims 3 on the Wii. Sims 3 is not going to wind up in here. I'm not going to buy it with the $5. It has no place in here. Very curated, very selective. But we're going to show that for just a $5 investment, you can put together a collection of excellent AAA, top-of-the-line games, retro games, NES, Super NES, N64, PlayStation, Genesis, all that. All going to have a place in this $5 game box. I once again thank Craigslist Game Finds for the idea, White for the idea. I can't wait to start. I bought this Legend of Zelda wallet. I'm going to call it the $5 Game Box Funds. The only thing in here is, I'm not going to show them because they have my personal information. Excuse me. Once again, beer burp, because I keep drinking beer on these things and I burp. But I have the business cards I made up that have about a 5% success rate when I use them. But they have my contact info in case I go somewhere. Oh, I have games just not here. All right. $5. I'm actually making a big show of this, but I'm actually cheating right now because that $5 has been spent because we've started the $5 game box already before I filmed this. And we're going to go to that footage right about now. And we are going to show our first purchase. And we're going to keep track of this. I'm gonna take you out. When it's appropriate, I'll film. I'll show you what I bought. When I go and I sell it, whether at the retro store, I meet somebody on Craigslist, or if it's on eBay, I'll show it on the computer. When we sell it, I'll take you and I'll show you. Here's the new funds. Here they are going into the game fund wallet. We're gonna show you. Oh, another thing, on White's video, he said he's not going to take into account when he sells on eBay fees and things like that. Like if I sell something for $20, I'm adding $20 into the thing. I'm going to take into account things like fees and shipping because they are a price. I'm not going to track cents. I'm not going to say, well, it costs $3.38. Now we have $13.62 left. No, we're not going to get that specific. But if I sell something for $20, I may, on eBay, I may stick 16 in here to take into account eBay fees, PayPal fees, and me having to go there and ship it off. We'll still probably make a profit off it, but I'm not saying, I made $20 because that's not accurate. But I'll give an estimate, a rough estimate of the funds that I lose by selling it on eBay when that time comes. If you watched my channel before, I don't think eBay for me is worth it to sell a $10 game or even a $15 game. But a loose disc copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee that I can sell for $50 or $55, eBay is worth it. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For now, stay tuned for footage of our very first purchase on the $5 game box. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the truth. We're going to show you the first purchase. However, the second purchase was made today too. So that episode 2 of the $5 game box, will be coming up shortly. Just to say, over the past 24 to 48 hours, ever since getting this idea, it's okay, we're going to do it, this thing is taken off. And I think you're going to be really surprised where this thing is after just the $5 investment. So, spoiler alert, we're going to have some fun. I hope you enjoy it. Please give the feedback. Just to set it up, because I'm not sure what I say in these videos, there's been a Craigslist ad that's been posted for months, keeps getting reposted months and months and months. Jungle Green N64 with a bunch of controllers and games. He's individually pricing games for what they're worth, $20 for Mickey Speedway and Mario Kart 64, god-awful price that he's trying to post for it. But the system, he says, has a glitch, and he's had $10 on it. I offered him $5 because, speaking with the person at the retro store here, we had a theory that the expansion pack wasn't sitting in there properly, and that was the glitch. He said the vast majority of people who bring in N64 say it doesn't work, it has a glitch, is the jumper pack or the expansion pack is not sitting in there correctly, and he fixes it, and they work, and all of a sudden he's got a working N64. So, with our $5 and with a little wheel and dealing, because this guy's been putting the same ad up for months and months and more, week after week after week, the same ad. I said, dude, you've been posting this ad weekly for months. I'll give you $5 for the system. So that's where we're going to start our journey, and we'll take it from there. Have fun. I certainly did. All right, here we are with the first experiment in the $5 game box. And what we're going to do is I'm in my car. I've got about an hour's drive ahead of me to Wilsall, Montana. I've got the $5 funding game fund wallet with the $5 in there. And I made a deal on Craigslist. This guy has been posting this Jungle Green N64 lot for months and months and months. And the reason it hasn't sold is because he said that the N64 has a glitch and doesn't work, but hey, if you know how to repair it, you could fix it. And he was trying to sell it for $10. I've been talking with Ben at the retro store here in town, and his theory was, because he says he sees this all the time, that people bring in broken N64s, and the problem is the jumper pack or the expansion pack isn't set in there correctly about 90 to 95% of the time. So his theory is the thing works perfectly, it's just that expansion pack is in there wrong. So when he posted the ad last time, I shot an email and said, I will buy your N64 for $5. So that's what we're going to do. He has some games and other stuff that I may try to get buy from him, make deals on, but I've already made a deal. The Jungle Green N64 with an expansion pack, green controller, $5. Even if it doesn't work, I'm going to be able to get a flip on the expansion pack and the controller. So we'll at least increase our fundage. Now, is that cheating in this thing? Like spending the first $5, the only $5 we're going to invest in the $5 game box into something we're going to flip? I don't think so, because getting off the initial $5 schneid is always going to be probably the hardest part of this, I believe, in increasing our funding. And this happens all the time. Quick flips, quick sells, and here's an opportunity to get something worth more than $5 for $5 and turn around and pretty significantly increase our funding so we can start getting games into the $5 game box. So I've got an hour drive ahead of me. I have a Diet Dr. Pepper in the drink holder. It is an absolutely gorgeous 55 degree day, not a cloud in the sky. I had the day off, so taking an hour drive is not a big deal to me. I got nothing else going on today, so I will see you hopefully after a deal is made. Hi. All right, so this dude, $5. There's the console, controller. He said the sticks were good. It's average, it's not great. Thing is, he had already taken it apart and he replaced it with some Phillips screw head screws. The originals are in this baggie. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it directly to the retro game store and see if he can test it there and just maybe flip it today. Flip it. Even with the expansion pack and the controller, I think I'm at least going to double the $5. That'll give us a little extra leeway on the $5 game box, a little extra spending cash. Then again, maybe it works and we got a lot more money for the $5 game box. So that's what is going to come up. I'm going to head to the retro store, see if we can test it there, right there in the store, and if it's working, or if it's not working, see what he'll give me for it. And we will see after that is done. I'll show you what our funds are in the wallet, the funding wallet for the $5 game box. See you in a bit. All right, party people, we just left the game store with the Jungle Green N64 with controller and hookups that we bought for $5. That was the first purchase in our $5 game box. So we took our first $5 and spent it on a system that in the Craigslist ad he said was glitched and broken. And we took it to the retro store because he's been watching the ad too. We've been talking about this ad for a while because, like I said before, the ad has popped up a whole lot. I kind of walked in and said, hey, you ready to test out that glitched N64? He's like, oh yeah, let's check it out. Long story short, the controller 1 port was busted, and when we initially tested it, it would start out fine and then it would glitch. The graphics would just kind of go really wonky. So we popped the expansion port, the expansion pack out, put it back in, reset it, and it worked. Now, the guy had taken it apart. I had to watch him put it back together. So now that we knew the expansion pack worked, the controller, the thumbstick was a little loose. He's like, listen, in perfect condition, I'd give you $60 for it. As is, since I'm going to do a case swap on it and the thumbstick. $45 credit. If you really want, I'll give you $40 cash. Now, $45 credit would have been awesome, but at this point in the $5 game box, we have to be liquid because we need to put games in the game box. So $40 right there for the glitched N64 from Craigslist, and that's going into the $5 game box funding wallet, and now we have funds. Now we're out. We're our back is no longer at the end line. We are at midfield. We have a little wiggle room here with $40. So now we can start hunting for games to put in our $5 game box. And I can't wait. I'm going to do some thrifting adventures. But like I said before, we have to stay loose. $45 credit would have been awesome. But whatever I get with $45 credit has to be, I have to be able to part with it because we need to stay liquid. We need to constantly have funds. I'm not adding any more money into the $5 game box funding wallet other than the $5 I initially put in. That's it. That's all of my own personal money I'm putting in. Everything else is self-funded. Now we have $40 in funds. By the time we do this again, hopefully we'll have some games. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of the $5 Game Box, whenever that comes. Like and subscribe if you wish. Take care.